Welcome to the Breaking Free from the Never Enough cycle, creating success that actually feels good. Over the past few weeks, we've explored the achievement paradigm paradox, perfectionism patterns, and why working harder isn't the answer. If you missed any of them, you can go back and catch up with this series. Today, let's talk about what actually works. How to create success that feels good instead of constantly chasing the next achievement. I know so many medical professionals who feel caught in this cycle, working harder and harder, but never feeling like they've quite made it. Sound familiar? Let's dive into why this happens and, more importantly, how to break free. In the next few minutes, you'll discover how to release old achievement patterns at a nervous system level, why transformation happens faster when you work with your body instead of against it, the practical steps to creating success from alignment rather than force, and what becomes possible when you break free from the never enough cycle. We're going to go into real examples of what this looks like in medicine and the science behind why traditional approaches often fail. Remember when I shared how discovering my achievement paradigm paradox changed everything? Well, today I want to share what happened next, how I actually started breaking free. The real breakthrough came when I understood that all of these patterns, the perfectionism, the money stress, the constant drive for more, weren't just mental or mindset. They were stored in my nervous system, creating automatic responses I didn't even realize I had. I remember one specific moment in clinic that really drove this home. I was presenting a complex case to my supervising physician. And even though I knew the patient and the treatment plan, my heart was racing, my palms were sweaty, and I was second-guessing everything. It wasn't just normal nervousness. It was an old achievement paradigm in action, creating a full physiological stress response. This explained why thinking positive or setting better goals never created lasting change. No matter how many affirmations I said or how hard I worked, I kept hitting the same walls until I understood what was really happening in my body, and that it was all happening automatically, subconsciously, based on old programming in my nervous system. Let me show you exactly what revealing your paradigm pattern looks like. It starts with noticing what happens in your body during specific situations. For example, when you need to ask a question during rounds, does your heart race because you're afraid of looking stupid? When you think about taking a day off, does your chest tighten and guilt sets in because you have so much work to do? When considering a new opportunity, does your breathing get shallow and you start to feel self-doubt or fear of failure? These physical and emotional responses aren't random. They're messages from your nervous system about your programming. They're telling you exactly where your achievement patterns are stored. Common trigger situations in medicine include things like being asked a question when you think you should already know the answer, making decisions about time off, setting boundaries around work and saying no instead of yes all the time, considering changes or new opportunities, receiving feedback that makes you feel inadequate or less than, dealing with difficult patients and making complex clinical decisions, asking for help or clarification, or speaking up in meetings when you have an idea but you're worried about how others will take it. Your body will tell you when you're in an old pattern if you learn to listen. And this awareness is the first step to creating change. Think of it like debugging software. You need to see where the glitches are before you can fix them. Your body's stress responses are like error messages pointing to exactly where the achievement paradigm needs updating. Once you reveal how your paradigm is showing up for you, the next step is to release. Here's what's fascinating about the neuroscience behind this. Your old paradigm has created deep neural pathways and belief systems. When you try to push outside of these established patterns, it triggers a physiological stress response. Your sympathetic nervous system activates, cortisol and adrenaline increase, and your body goes into fight or flight mode. Your subconscious interprets this discomfort as danger and automatically takes actions to avoid the resistance, like procrastinating, staying quiet instead of speaking up, or falling back into other old patterns. This is why simply trying to push through or think positive doesn't create lasting change. When you use mind-body tools like tapping, you're actually interrupting this automatic stress response. You're retraining your nervous system to stay regulated when pushing beyond your old paradigm's limitations. This creates space for new neural pathways and behavioral patterns to form. Here's the key. Once you show your nervous system that it's safe to let go, everything shifts. This is where tools that address your fight, flight, or freeze response become so powerful. They help your body release old patterns at a physiological level. When you're releasing a pattern, you might notice changes like spontaneous deep breaths, muscle relaxation, temperature changes, emotional release, clarity about next steps, reduced anxiety about uncertainty. The release isn't just emotional. It's a full mind-body experience. And when you release at this level, changes stick. I'll share a quick example from one of my clients, a PA who had been struggling with perfectionism for years. During our work together, she had a powerful release around needing to know everything. She actually felt the tension leave her shoulders as she realized it was safe to be learning and growing instead of being perfect. The third phase is rewiring. The rewiring process is where real transformation happens. As old patterns release, you naturally start responding differently to situations. Instead of automatically pushing harder when stressed, you might find that you pause and check in with your body. Instead of saying yes to everything, you naturally start setting boundaries. Common signs that you're creating new patterns is things like feeling more at ease with uncertainty, having natural confidence during decisions, less need for external validation, and more enjoyment of current success. Having an easier time being present and trusting your clinical judgment. Setting healthier boundaries and making decisions from alignment rather than fear. Now, when I achieve something, I can actually celebrate it. I make decisions based on what I want, not just what I think I should do. Success feels like a natural unfolding rather than a constant push. This shows up in practical ways too. I was able to break the habit of complaining all the time about and hating my job. I can take time off and spend money without guilt. I trust my clinical judgment more than ever. And perhaps most importantly, I actually enjoy my life without being obsessed that I want to leave medicine altogether. Breaking free from achievement patterns doesn't happen overnight, but it also doesn't have to take forever. When you work with your nervous system instead of against it, transformation happens faster than you might expect. Remember, you didn't choose these patterns. They were programmed in, but you can choose to release them and create something new. As we wrap up this series, I'd love to hear what's shifted for you. Share in the comments below this video what resonated most from these videos about the achievement paradigm paradox. And stay tuned. Next week, we're starting a new series about mind-body success secrets, where I'll show you exactly how to work with your nervous system to create lasting change. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you're ready to start breaking free from your own achievement patterns, check out the link in the description for more resources. See you soon.